Most cordial welcome. Stay with us, Lord. Mane nobiscum Domine. With the two disciples on their way to Emmaus, I pray, stay with us, Lord. Mane nobiscum Domine. Dear and Reverend Dr. George Idayadil, Rector, Dharmaram College, Your Eminences, Graces, Excellencies, Superior Generals, Provincials, Superiors, Guardians, Deans and Directors, Professors and Students, especially the freshers of the GVK, Sabko Jayesu. The Corona. This is the most often used word in today's time. Our chats and conversations, be it in the family, the community, or society, is all about the Corona. Our discussions and debates in the social media, be it the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TV, or radio, is all about the Corona. When we say the word Corona, what does it do to you, to me, to us? We get frightened, we become anxious, and we are in great panic. Yes, many people are scared. Many are living in anxiety and fear. In India too, the Corona scare is its highest level. And all-pervading helplessness is experienced even by the most powerful countries and people. Death is sweeping all over the continents. For Corona has no boundaries, no religion, no ethnic differences, and no language, culture, and color differences. The tiny coronavirus has thus infused in the minds of Homo Deus, man-God, that we too are vulnerable like any other living organism, and Corona, the leveler, may not spare us. In fact, do you know the actual meaning of the word Corona? Corona in Latin means the crown. The virus has crown-like spikes on it. Hence, it is called the Corona. As you know, the outer layer of the sun is also called the corona, the stellar corona. It has a beautiful golden ring, which we can never see because the sun is so bright that we are blinded by its light. But when the sun goes through the solar eclipse, when it goes through its complete darkness, we can see its beautiful stellar corona. So think about it, my friends. We, the humans, are now going through complete darkness. And if we allow ourselves, of course, we can see the true light. We have been so blinded by our fast-paced life that we have no time to stand and stare at the beauty of life and the charms of nature. We have been so blinded by the money power and muscle power that we have lost the sense of truth and justice. We have been so blinded by the strength of our scientific innovations and sophisticated weaponaries that we have no respect for the other. We have been so blinded by the pleasure of our lavish parties and celebrations that we have lost our sensitivity to the poor and the hungry. We have been so blinded by the claims and counterclaims of the religious leaders and fanatic groups that we have lost real faith in God. Yes, we have been blinded by a world of pompous boasting about our strength, our capacities, and our will to say, yes, I can. But remember, my dear friends, The coronavirus is here not to make us go through dark times, but to see the true light. The coronavirus is here not to make us desperate, but remind us anew the fragile nature of this world order. The coronavirus is here not to make us socially indifferent, but to teach us what truly matters. And what truly matters today is kindness and love. Today, what really matters is the other. With a plea in our hearts, stay with us. Mane nobiscum, stay with us. According to John Mossey S.J., a meditation on the Emmaus event may help us to tide over our dark nights and see the true light. As the Gospel of Luke narrates, the two disciples were on the way to the village called Emmaus. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself went with them, but they did not perceive the presence of their master as their eyes were holden. Maybe the sun was sinking, and the setting sun was so dazzling that they did not see their Lord. But I would say, more than the sunset, their eyes were holden due to sorrow, for they witnessed the most horrible scenes of blood and murder which had been enacted in Jerusalem. Their eyes were holden due to unbelief, for they were never expected to see the crucified Jesus on the way. They were also holden by ignorance, for they failed to know what is written in the sacred scriptures, that the Messiah must suffer and die. They were also holden by despair, for they hoped that he was the one to redeem Israel. Amidst the encircling gloom caused by sorrow, unbelief, doubt, and despair, my friends, they could still plead, Mane nobiscum, stay with us. So he went in to stay with them. The Emmaus event thus rolls out the evolution of the awareness of the two disciples, from sorrow to joy, from unbelief to belief, from ignorance to knowledge, and from despair to hope and love. For it is written, their hearts were burning within them while he was talking to them. For it is written, their hearts were burning within them while he was explaining the scriptures to them. For it is written, their eyes were opened while he was breaking the bread with them. Yes, their eyes were opened and they recognized Jesus. The encounter with Jesus filled their whole being with the passion and purpose, and they immediately returned to Jerusalem to share the experience with the other disciples. They sensed a must to share the happiness and the good news with others. How true is the Swedish proverb, a joy shared is a joy doubled, a sorrow shared is a sorrow halved. A heart on fire, a heart filled with love, is best of all we need today at a time when the pandemic COVID-19 keep us away by social distancing through travel restrictions and lockdowns. But don't worry, everything is not locked down. Friendship is not locked down. Prayers are not locked down. And above all, love and hope are not locked down. With a heart inflamed with love, let us reach out to the millions who suffer from the pandemic COVID-19. Even if we are not infected, the crisis is affecting our lives and loved ones in one way or other. In the words of Simone, humanity is like stones in an arch. The healthier the stones, the healthier the arch. And since we all are part of each other's reality, we too share responsibility for one another. Refusing to act to prevent the spread of the virus makes us responsible for worsening the situation, not just for other people, but for ourselves, because our well-being is necessarily linked to others' well-being. Hence, let the phrases like social distancing, masking, and washing hands become part of our everyday vocabulary, along with our plea, stay with us. As we know, no one does big things by themselves. So, be alive to one another's struggles. Stand up for one another's rights. Leave behind all the old ways of thinking that divide us and set the world on a different path. Thus, you and I will be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Indeed, in order to be part of the solution, we need to think and behave differently. Or as Steve Jobs puts it, think different. In order to solve the challenges we face, we have to cultivate what the Buddhist philosophers call the 6 perfections: generosity, attention, patience, resolution, contemplation, and wisdom. Ga pro. G, generosity. A, attention. P, patience. R, resolution. O, contemplation. And W, wisdom. Ga pro. Generosity. Generosity to help family, neighbors, and communities that find themselves in need and thereby alleviate suffering around us. Attention to the needs of others, to our own responses to those needs, and to our own states and intention that may either contribute to or ease suffering. Patience to reduce our tendency to anger or to despair, and enable ourselves to work calmly and respond effectively to the needs around us. Resolution that enables serious effort and ensures that we do not lose hope or heart. In other words, we don't easily give up. Contemplation to gather our thoughts, to fix our resolve, and to remember who we are and to what we are committed. Finally, wisdom. The serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The development of these perfections enables personal growth while also helping us to address the pandemic COVID-19. It enables us to become better friends to one another, to care for one another, to take the interest of others as our own, and to derive happiness from their happiness as well. In the spirit of sharing and mutual help, DVK is launching online learning program from August 3, 2020 onwards. DVK introduces the online mode of teaching and learning not because it is better than the presence learning, but the public health emergency arising from the pandemic COVID-19 compels DVK to review and reinvent the lives and activities of the DVK campus. As online learning is first of its kind in the annals of the DVK, there are several questions that are to be answered, sometimes without much conviction or clarity for lack of benchmarks. Questions like, by what means are the courses provided? How are teachers trained in the different teaching modalities? How are exams and thesis defenses carried out? What measures have been taken to mitigate possible hitches related to internet access and computer equipment? How to ensure the formative and pastoral accompaniment of the students of the Pontifical Athenaeum, the DVK. However, trusting in the providence of God and in the wholehearted participation of all the stakeholders of DVK, the bishops, generals, rectors, superiors, teachers, and students, we begin. And surely we will overcome all obstacles in the process of online learning. First of all, online learning does not imply lowering the quality of ecclesiastical education. For we uphold the vision and conviction of our founding father, Saint Kuriakos Elias Chavra, who said, "An uneducated priest is not only inefficient to do anything in his pastoral work, but might even be detrimental to the salvation of souls." Secondly, while engaged in the online learning, we don't forget or ignore the formative and pastoral concerns of the ecclesiastical education. Definitely, we will accompany you, dear scholars and students, and especially my dear freshers, in the best possible way through regular lectures, class notes, assignments, teaching aid like PPT, audio, video clips, etc., and above all, through personal contacts by respective dean or director and animator or teacher. Perhaps this is just one side of the story. The other side is to be told, I think, by the rectors, provincials, and superiors, namely the guardians of the scholars and students of the DVK. In a circular letter to the DVK, the Vice Chancellor, Very Reverend Dr. Thomas Chathambaram CMI, writes, "There shall be an animator for the students, who shall be responsible for the formation and discipline of the students during their stay in the provinces or regions or wherever they are. Along with the Vice Chancellor, may I appeal to you, dear rectors, provincials, and superiors, to make adequate arrangements to address the formative, spiritual, and pastoral concerns of our scholastics. If we resolve to work together with the patience and endurance, we shall surely overcome the challenges posed by the corona." Finally, let us pray in cohesion. Mane nobiscum Domini. Stay with us, Lord, so that we shall learn in the company of Jesus, the Sadguru, the teacher par excellence. Being with Jesus will inflame our hearts while he explains the scriptures to us, as in the case of the disciples on the way to Emmaus. Being with Jesus will open our eyes while he breaks the bread with us, as in the case of the disciples on the way to Emmaus. Being with Jesus will open our minds so that we will recognize him as our Master and Lord. With inflamed heart and enlightened mind, we shall hasten to the ends of the earth to proclaim and share the good news of love and joy. The good news that Jesus is alive and he loves you, he loves me, he loves us. And surely he will be with us always to the end of the age as he has promised. I pray, stay with us, Lord. Mane nobiscum Domine. Before I sign off, may I recall the fond memories of Reverend Father Thomas Kurian CMI, Professor Emeritus of Dharmaram Vidya Kshetram, who was called to eternal life on Wednesday, June 17, 2020, at St. Philomena's Hospital, Bangalore. The funeral ceremony was held on June 18, 2020, at the St. Paul Carmel House, Tandavapura, Karnataka. Father Thomas, my own guru and mentor, was a saintly religious priest and an exemplary teacher who served DVK over 2 decades and captivated the imaginations of his colleagues and students by the pedagogy of the heart. May the departed soul rest in peace. Amen.